Imagine you have a cough that's lingered for too long. So you see a doctor. Even though most upper respiratory infections are just short-term ailments, you're prescribed an antibiotic in case it's a dangerous bacterial infection. So the question is, do you take it? In such a fear-based medical culture, many would say yes, because they're made to believe that the body is incapable of healing without a magical pill. Physicians dispense around 4 billion drug prescriptions per year, but there's less than a 5% chance that the patient will actually benefit. This is clear in places like Humboldt County, my home, where there's more opioid prescriptions than actual people. It's the reason why I have friends facing involuntary hallucinogenic episodes, because their antidepressants are reacting with their sedatives. And with these drugs widely available, it's the reason why so many develop dangerous addictions to them. I've witnessed the consequences of this closer than any sister should have to. If all physicians are worried about is how many pills they can sign off on anytime someone comes in with a health ailment, then we have a problem much deeper than tending to a single patient. Healthcare is definitely one area where the states are lacking, with the third leading cause of death being medical treatment itself. But it doesn't stop there. Far more prevalent than anything else is the issue of climate change, which continues to be fueled by thoughtless environmental policies. A few years ago, I learned that one way to reduce my impact was to stop eating animal products. And before then I thought, why would anyone ever do that? Can people actually live without cheese? But after seeing humanity's adverse effects on the planet through the horrors of factory farming, I felt like it was something I had to do if I wanted to consider myself an environmentalist. When I first started eating a plant-based diet in 2016, I was living in thick stress. I was struggling with relationships, severely overworking myself, and constantly getting sick. I didn't know much about nutrition at this point, and took advantage of snacks with no animal products. This didn't make things any better in terms of my own health, despite having less of an impact on the planet. But after enough occasions of eating out and having to choose between a glass of water or a pile of leaves that some restaurants have the audacity to call a salad, I was forced to choose the dreaded vegetables. Eventually, my picky taste palette expanded, and less did the temptation of foods like goldfish seep into my mind. I was feeling much more energized, and my mood drastically improved. Meanwhile, I found out my grandpa, who told me it was stupid to be vegan, needed heart surgery due to a coronary artery disease. Chronologically, disease has gone through many different eras. The age of famine, and the age of degenerative diseases as the Industrial Revolution came about. Currently, the main killers are lifestyle diseases like heart disease and diabetes. What's interesting is that this era of disease emerged at the same time as a dramatic shift in the Western diet. People started eating a lot more meat and a lot more sugar and sodium in processed foods. And I'm not talking about your fresh, local, sustainably sourced meat, okay? No need to get into a kerfuffle. I'm talking about this, and this, and this, and all of the over-processed, over-hormone injected, and over-consumed meat that so many find absolutely delicious. But what's not so delicious is that more Americans die annually from heart disease than they have from all wars ever combined. According to the 2010 Global Burden of Disease study, the leading cause of death and disability in the US can be attributed to diet. Yet, as it turns out, only 1 in 4 medical schools require nutrition courses. And those that do only offer it as less than 1% of the curriculum. Fortunately, we can take matters into our own hands. The China study, the most comprehensive nutrition study ever done, shows that a predominantly whole food, plant-based diet will allow for optimal health. Even Hippocrates said, "Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food." This is because the amount of antioxidants and anti-inflammatory properties that plants provide can drastically change how the human body operates, even reversing DNA damage. Nearly all chronic diseases stem from inflammation, and the most important way to reduce this is to fuel the microbiome, an ecosystem within the body, by eating fruits and vegetables and fermented foods like kimchi and miso soup. 70% of immunity is generated here, and when people fill up on antibiotics and processed foods, the 50 trillion cells living in and on the body start to produce the wrong kinds of bacteria. When this happens, food can't break down properly, and it increases people's susceptibility to disease, causing them to turn to antibiotics, only making the problem worse. And what's more is that when people start to experience the effects of not eating well, they think their only option is to take a pharmaceutical prescription. But when someone experiences heart problems, for example, and takes Lipitor, a cholesterol-lowering drug, it will actually increase their risk of breast cancer and Alzheimer's disease. It's a perpetual cycle of discomfort, spending, and dependency. Luckily, following a plant-based diet results in a 60% overall risk reduction against chronic diseases. And it's not just physical health that will improve, it's emotional too. Eating fruits and vegetables increases stable cognitive function and allows for flourishing microbiome health, which increases levels of serotonin, a happiness chemical produced in the gut. When given the choice, it's clear that healthy eating is both a prevention and a cure. Let's say you have a headache. You could take a drug called Imitrex, a prescription which makes billions of dollars only to cause heartburn, sedation, and dizziness for patients. But think about what people might have done before Imitrex was on the market, before the market existed at all. People would take a plant, like ginger, only needing 1/8 of a teaspoon, which costs 3,000 times less than the pill someone might take today, and they'll feel the amazing healing effects of the root in reducing pain. Because the truth is that Western medicine is derived from plants. It's just that the system has gone all backwards, and now synthetic substances have replaced natural ones, both medically and nutritionally, when they should be coming from the same source. The high sugar, high sodium, high fat diet is spreading everywhere, including our island home. It's a good thing Bali has a strong and beautiful culture, and I've been able to learn so much from how Indonesian people utilize the natural world. Towards the beginning of my research, I met with a wise natural healer named Pak Tri. But I was confused why he was answering my health questions with theories of quantum physics. He explained how, when matter is truly broken down, smaller than atoms, smaller than electrons, even smaller than subatomic particles, there is really nothing but a presence of energy. This energy connects everything and holds a special power that many Western medical cultures dismiss. It's how some Aboriginal people have water sensing abilities and how Amazonian shamans can communicate with plant energy. While the West looks at substance, the East looks at form. So if we go back to the headache example, Western medicine might shut down the pain by providing a pill, a temporary fix which many forget they've even taken after the feeling subsides. But maybe there's a reason you're experiencing this sensation. Maybe there's been a significant lack of sleep. Maybe you've been filling the body with processed foods. Maybe overworking yourself and staring at a screen for too long. Signs like headaches are meant to be taken as a warning to slow down, get some rest, and breathe deep. Because if we simply wish away these feelings and continue on with the same unhealthy routine, symptoms will persist and could turn into something much more. As said by naturopath Amy Rost, the body whispers before it shouts. But in order to keep the body from getting to the point of shouting, you have to look beyond the physical. After researching many different forms of healing, including Ayurvedic, homeopathic, nutritional, Chinese, and more, I've realized that having a balance of this energy is what truly keeps us healthy. It doesn't matter if you think of it as yin and yang, the chakras of the endocrine system, the meridians, qi, it all comes down to balance. One healing theory that honors this idea, which I find especially interesting, is called spagyrics. The philosophy is that ancient Egyptians believed the souls of all beings are ruled by 7 planetary archetypes: Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Venus, Mercury, Moon, and Sun. In working with certain plants like lavender or St. John's wort to heal ourselves, we're essentially balancing out these archetypes, because every being, including plants, has a soul, body, and spirit. So knowing that St. John's wort is ruled by the sun, an archetype which radiates positivity, can be useful for someone who's feeling a little down. Learning about herbalism in such a way really proves that plants are made to heal on a more spiritual level than I ever thought possible. But I realized that not everyone is exposed to these ideas. Because of this, I designed an app called Remedio so that a wider range of people could access the power of herbalism through spagyrics. While distribution is still underway, I encourage you to download it as a mobile web application. Now, I know I may have lost some of you to some of the abstract truths I've just suggested, and that's okay. Skepticism is welcome. I'm someone who values scientific fact heavily. I've even committed myself to studying the intense math and science of engineering. But throughout this process, I've come to realize that having a factual understanding can actually be strengthened by a more extensive analysis open to non-material ideas. So instead of showing you how these plants I've been talking about can heal you nutritionally, my app focuses on how these plants can nourish you on an even deeper level through supporting internal balance. Healing occurs from the inside out. And my goal is that people can use this app as a way to pay more attention to how they're feeling and take control of their own health. Just taking pills is a surface-level solution. And while healthy eating is a huge improvement, it takes more to maintain well-being in all aspects. It wasn't becoming vegan that automatically made me healthy and happy. It was the fact that turning to plants in what I ate was the first step in reinforcing my relationship with nature and ultimately myself and those around me. By understanding the interdependence between our physical health and our mental well-being, it's important to then see that living in a world so far removed from natural healing creates a barrier between the two. As long as we utilize the plants we've been gifted with as they exist here on Earth, achieving true well-being becomes so much simpler. Spreading this mindset is key to improving widespread health. And with that, you might even be able to avoid that lingering cough to begin with. Thank you.